Yes, sir. Councilmember Altamirano,
Here.
Councilmember Argumedo,
Here.
Councilmember Rebollo, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Here.
Mayor Lainez.
Here. And for the record, Councilwoman Rebollo is actually here, but just not on the dais at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to public comment. Interim clerk, do we have any speaker cards?
None.
Okay, great. So at this time, we'll go ahead and recess to closed session. Interim city clerk, please recess us to closed session. Could you read out the items, please?
Yes, sir. The council will recess into closed session. There are 4 items on the regular agenda and 1 item on the special meeting agenda. There's conference with legal counsel pursuant to Government Code Sections 54956.9 D2 and E2 regarding anticipated potential litigation in 1 matter. Pursuant to Government Code, there's 4 properties that are pursuant to Government Code 54956.8. The City Council will confer with its real property negotiator, Ernie, with respect to real estate negotiations regarding 6300 Telegraph Road, Commerce, California, 5933 Telegraph Road, Commerce, California, 6364 Zindel Avenue, Commerce, California, and 72805 Parkview Drive, Palm Desert, California.
Okay, great. And at this time, we'll go ahead and recess to closed session. Thank you. evening, everyone. The council will now reconvene from closed session. Attorney Tapia, could you please provide a report?
Certainly, Mr. Mayor. With all 5 members of the City Council being present, the City Council met in closed session, discussed the following items. City Council discussed item number 1 and 2. City staff made presentations. City Council provided direction. No final reportable action was taken. Items 3 and 4 were not discussed. It is the intent of the City Council to reconvene in closed session following the conclusion of the open session part of its program. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. City Attorney. I now call to order the March 10th, 2026 concurrent joint meetings of the City Council of the City of Commerce, Joint Powers Financing Authority, and the governing body of the successor agency to the Commerce Community Development Commission. Will the interim clerk please call roll?
Here. Here.
Here? Here.
Here. Okay, and we have quorum. So if you could all join me and please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Finance Director Castellon, as well as the invocation by Councilwoman Rebollo.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members of the public. If you could join me, please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads. Gracious and sovereign God, we thank you for this gathering and for the leaders you have created, redeemed, and called to serve for your kingdom. As we celebrate Women's History Month, we recognize that throughout history, you have raised up faithful women who feared your name, served their families, strengthened your church, and blessed their communities. While we get to enjoy the freedoms brought to us by so many brave men and women, I pray, Lord, that you would bless all of them serving our country today in the Middle East and here at home. Comfort the families and friends of our fallen soldiers, and please bring our troops home safely, especially my niece Cassie and all of her shipmates. We pray for safety for all of our emergency response personnel that guard our city, and I pray that all of us gathered here today would lead with humility, wisdom, courage, and deep dependence on you. I pray for our homies with extra chromies who you have made in your perfect image to share with the world. May our influence reflect the beauty of Christ, serving others, building up families, strengthening communities, and pointing many to the hope of the gospel. We ask this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Director Castellon and Councilwoman Rebollo. So now we'll go ahead and move on to appearances and presentations. And we're going to make a proclamation today for World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st, 2026. And at this time, I'd like to invite Patricia Barundo to present, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, mayors of the City Council, and mayors of the community. My name is Patricia Barunda with the City of Commerce Department of Parks and Recreation. Each year, on March 21st, communities around the world recognize World Down Syndrome Day. The date, 3/21, represents the 3 copies of the 21st chromosome that cause Down syndrome. It is a day to raise awareness and celebrate the abilities, contributions, and inclusion of individuals with Down syndrome. This year's theme is Together Against Loneliness, reminding us of the importance of connection, friendship, and belonging for everyone in our community. A fun tradition on this day is called Rock Your Socks. People wear bright and mismatched socks to celebrate differences and spark conversations about Down syndrome. On March 21st, we encourage everyone to join us and rock your socks. Here in the City of Commerce, inclusion is something we truly value. Our programs, activities, and community spaces are designed to bring people together and create opportunities for everyone to participate and feel a sense of belonging. One wonderful example of this is Jose Cisneros, also known as Jags. When asked today how he prefers to be called, he proudly announced, Big Jags. Jags continues to be a great example of participation and community involvement. Over the years, Jags has participated in many city programs. He has attended day camps and participated in both Special Olympics swim team and Special Olympics bowling team. Jags is also a regular at the Bandini Library and Learning Center, where he participates in science projects and works with his tutor, continuing to learn and stay actively involved in the community. Currently, Jags is a member of the Teen Center basketball team, where he enjoys playing with his teammates and competing against teams from other parks. Members of his basketball teams have joined us tonight to support him, which is a wonderful example of the friendships and community these programs create. Thank you, Teen Center team, for being here today. Recently, the Special Olympics swim team was invited to the Commerce Aquatics Awards banquet, where they were recognized alongside the Commerce Aquatics swim team, girls water polo, and boys water polo teams. Here in Commerce, inclusion is what we're all about. So it was only natural that the Special Olympics swim team be recognized as part of our aquatics family and our community. Jags' continued participation is supported by his family, and we would like to recognize his mom, Susana, and his dad, Jose, and the support system that encourages him every day. As we approach World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st, we encourage everyone to celebrate inclusion, friendship, and belonging. Because when everyone is welcomed and included, our entire community becomes stronger. And remember, March 21st, let's rock our socks. We will be announcing World Down Syndrome Day on our social media platforms, and we invite the community to share their sock pictures with us in the comment section. Now, at this time, we would like to share a short presentation highlighting Jags and the programs that help our community so special. And now it is my honor to invite Mayor Kevin Linus to read the City of Commerce proclamation recognizing World Down Syndrome Day. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Patty. Really appreciate it. Before I read the proclamation, I just want to thank the Cisneros family for being such wonderful ambassadors for the Down syndrome community. I know there's a few members of our community that do have Down syndrome, but so I really appreciate you coming in and representing everyone. And Jag's just done such a wonderful job of really integrating himself into the community, but also teaching us all that, you know, we should always push our abilities to the limit, right? And that's something that I've always admired from Jags throughout the years, right? You know, I remember when one of the first times I met him, you know, we had the explorers meeting at our house, right? And then we went hiking in Monrovia, and you know, it was great just to get to know him and to get to know you both as well. just because you all do wonderful work, right? And, as far as Down syndrome, we're reminded that our differences aren't barriers, right? And JAG is proof of that. They're strengths that make our community stronger. And the one thing that I've always said, I've always communicated, is that commerce is for everyone, right? And over the past several years, through the work of our staff, through the work of our city council, we've taken meaningful strides to really provide services and programming for people of all abilities, right? And so it's really rewarding to see JAGS thriving, right? I know he does karate, he's done surfing, he's participated in the Special Olympics swim team. He's hooping with the teen center, right? So that's great to see. So really admire you, and thank you so much for being here today and for sharing this special moment with us. And thank you to the Teen Center staff. I see Isaiah, I see Angel, the Teen Center basketball team, and I think I see Teen Center Supervisor Amber Torres and Amatrine in the background. So thank you all for coming as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read a proclamation, but before I do that, Mr. City Manager, I just want to make sure that we do light up City Hall yellow and blue for World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st. March 21st also falls on the day of our spring festivals, so I'll be rocking my different socks, and you can call me on it, right? You can do a sock check on me, so. All right, so a proclamation of the City of Commerce designating March 21st, 2026 as World Down Syndrome Day in the City of Commerce. Whereas the City of Commerce recognizes and honors the contributions of individuals with Down syndrome who enrich our community through their talents, resilience, and spirit. And whereas World Down Syndrome Day is observed annually on March 21st to raise public awareness, promote inclusion, and advocate for the rights, well-being, and self-determination of individuals with Down syndrome. And whereas the theme for World Down Syndrome Day 2026, Together Against Loneliness, this campaign focuses on combating the social isolation and exclusion frequently experienced by individuals with Down syndrome. It highlights the need for fostering meaningful connections, friendships, and inclusive environments in schools, workplaces, and communities. And whereas individuals with Down syndrome deserve equitable access to education, employment, healthcare, and community resources that enable them to thrive and contribute meaningfully to society. And whereas the City of Commerce is committed to fostering an inclusive and supportive community by advocating for programs, initiatives, and partnerships that ensure individuals with Down syndrome and their families receive the resources and the support they need. And whereas we encourage residents, businesses, and organizations to join us in recognizing the importance of inclusion and to work together to break down barriers, challenge stereotypes, and promote understanding and acceptance. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Commerce does hereby proclaim March 21st, 2026 as World Down Syndrome Day in the City of Commerce, and encourages all residents to wear blue and yellow, participate in awareness activities, and join in the global effort to celebrate and empower individuals with Down syndrome. In witness whereof, I have been hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Commerce to be affixed this 10th day of March 2026, passed and adopted this 10th day of March 2026, by myself, the Mayor of the City of Commerce, and my colleagues here on the City Council. Thank you. And if we could, I'd like to invite my colleagues and the Cisneros family to come down here to take a picture with us, please. Okay, so at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to public comment. At this time, members of the public who wish to address the City Council on any agenda item or any matter not on the agenda and have submitted a speaker slip will be called up to the podium. I will remind the members that there is a 3-minute time limit, so just want to make sure that we're aware of that. And I do have 2 speaker cards today, so first, I'd like to call up Yvonne Sandoval.
Wow, good evening, everyone. I have 2 items to refer to. So, number 1, I'm the president of a senior club at the Senior Center, and we will be having 2 trips this Saturday and at the end of the month. And there's still some open spaces. And I do want to announce that come April 4th and April 10th, we'll have 2 more, and that one trip will be going to downtown La Jolla, and we will be eating at Dirt Dog if everything works well with that time frame. But what I also want to mention, and I did write it for myself, so I won't mess this up. I really want to, I'm very grateful for our city for offering painting classes with a world-famous artist, Calixto. As a senior, it's inspiring to learn, create, and stay connected through art. I can tell you the class is beaming with happiness, and life is ever so bright at the Senior Center. So thank you, City Council and staff, for supporting lifelong creativity. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ms. Sandoval. At this time, I'd like to call up Leslie Navarro to the podium, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members, and City of Commerce. My name is Leslie Navarro, and I represent Helpline Youth Counseling, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting the well-being of youth and families through counseling, education, and community resources. I am here on behalf of the Southeast Community Alliance Coalition, also known as SECA, and its Let's Make a Difference campaign. This is a community-level prevention effort focused on reducing alcohol, drugs, and prescription medication misuse across Los Angeles County Service Planning Area 7, also known as Boss 7. The Let's Make a Difference campaign promotes safe medication practices. Our goal is to help families store medication safely, properly dispose of the unused medication, and avoid sharing prescription drugs. We work with local pharmacies, schools, and community organizations to share a simple but powerful message. Across Boss 7, we have partnered with 27 pharmacies. In the City of Commerce, we visited 4 pharmacies, but none are current active partners, sharing resources, educating customers, or raising awareness to the community. However, despite Commerce population of more than 12,000 residents, the city currently does not have a permanent disposal site. When families do not have easy access to safe disposal options, unused medication tends to remain in the home longer, and it can increase the risk of accidental or intentional access by teens or visitors. This represents an important community safety gap, and we believe the Commerce has the opportunity to make a meaningful, has an opportunity to encourage the community to participate in this campaign. We encourage the city to partner more closely with us by inviting our campaign to city-sponsored events and collaborating on ways to expand safe medication disposal access across Commerce. We currently partner with the City of Downey for National Take Back Day this October, and we helped collect 247 pounds of expired or unwanted medication, and respectfully encourage the City of Commerce to register and participate on this upcoming National Take Back Day on April 25th, 2026. I want to acknowledge Commerce's strong commitment to its youth and community health and medication practice safely. Medication safety is an area where a small action can make a real change, and many families simply do not know where to dispose of this medication safely or how to store it. So we want to ask, the City of Commerce to partner with the Let's Make a Difference campaign. So thank you for your support and your time.
Thank you for your comments this evening, Ms. Navarro. Could you be reached at the phone number you left on your speaker slip? And I don't think she heard me, but. Okay, perfect. So we'll make sure that staff follows up with you at some point this week. Thank you. Okay, I have no more speaker cards, so that concludes public comment. At this time, we'll move on to the consent calendar. We'll now consider the consent calendar, which consists of items 1 through 6. Does anyone on the City Council wish to pull any items from consent?
I'd like to pull number 3.
Okay, so we'll pull number 3. Any other items to pull? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for items 1 and 2
There's
and
no
4 through
comments or
6.
questions. I would move to approve, Mayor.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion by Councilmember Argumedo, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, so at this time, let's move on to item number 3, which is the adoption of a resolution approving the First Amendment to the agreement with Block Safety to modify and expand services for mobile security camera trailers. And who can present on this item today, Mr. City Manager?
Honorable Mayor, Member City Council, I could ask her any questions related to staff report. I'm having a difficult time pulling it up, but this is a renewal of the contract with Flock Services for the cameras we used in the past. The previous vendor we had a lot of issues with, and these are upgrades to essentially what was used in the past with regards to the mobile cameras.
Okay, Councilmember.
That was my question. That's why I asked to pull it. I just wanted to follow up on the outstanding issues that we had related to the cameras that we've used in the past. So what we're recommending here is, looks like for a 12-month period, we're going to be using, I guess, some mobile cameras once again, all right? But the issue's been resolved now. We've tested these cameras, they work, and we're able to get to the data that we need to look at that.
Yes, Councilor Argumedo. So this is a different company, and this is the company most prevalently used by most cities. But yeah, you're well aware of the issues we had with the previous cameras, and so this should address all of those issues.
Okay, and we're, I guess I'm looking for more of a permanent solution. I mean, right now we're looking at mobile cameras that we'll be placing in certain areas, and I realize that it's got, flashing blue lights and all of this stuff. But generally, I mean, I guess what our goal is to just deter people from doing crime in the areas where we have them deployed. Or, I mean, I kind of would like to see more of a long-term approach in terms of, having cameras throughout the community where, where there would be of more benefit to everybody. So that's the question. And I know this is only for a 1-year period, so I mean, I'm okay if we're going to move with that, but I really would like to see more of a long-term solution to this ever-growing problem.
Understood, and you're correct. This is essentially to hit hotspots in the city, right? They move around to different areas of need. I think based on previous conversations you and I specifically have had, you were interested in putting permanent cameras on various city light poles or appropriate facilities depending on the need. I think part of that process, right, will be facilitated as we move forward with citywide Wi-Fi, the network through the Gateway Cities COG. And so that will give us the capabilities, because there is quite a bit of data capabilities that becomes an issue. Without those capabilities, those cameras can only store a very short period of time, I think less than 72 hours of data. And unfortunately, a lot of times, we won't get a complaint for a few days later, and then when we go back to check the information, it's already been it's basically recycled. So But certainly, we can look into that and make that a part of the budget process conversation.
Okay. And the cost on that, it looks like it's not to exceed $75,000 for the year?
Correct, and that really will depend on our need, right? We will always have a couple on hand, but if we need more, we'll have the ability to do that with the monies that the city council has approved.
Okay. Hopefully you'll report back on how it's working and, if it's having an impact. I think that would be important. So, if you don't mind, maybe 6 months down the road, give us an update, give us some feedback. How many times they've been deployed, where they've been deployed, what it is that, how they're working out, if we're deterring crime in those areas, and so on. If we were able to prosecute anybody as a result of these cameras being deployed, that sort of stuff. Okay?
Thank you, sir. We will.
Thank you. No further questions, Mayor. Thank you. And if there's no additional comments or questions, I would move to approve the item as presented.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Argumedo. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Altamirano. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Great. Thank you. Good questions. I think we should have a check-in in 6 months just to see how they're producing. I think it's good. Okay, great. So now we'll go ahead and move on to item 7, a related item, because we have a presentation and an update from the Sheriff's Department of Public Safety in the City of Commerce. We have Sergeant Cortez here today. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. I have a couple of familiar things to report on and a couple new ways of seeing statistics in the City of Commerce. For the entire month of February, there is a similar amount of robberies compared to January, almost identical burglaries compared to January, but a significant increase in thefts compared to January. It is almost 3 times more thefts in the month of February, all 28 days versus January. Auto thefts, which is GTA, has also increased almost by double. Crimes against persons, homicide 0, rape 0, and aggravated assaults have doubled. So this is felony assaults leading to seriously great bodily injury. Now this slide is a new, or it's not a new, but it's another way to see crime and the solutions that the Sheriff's Department here in Commerce, new slide, has, one more slide, has progressed. So this month of February, compared to last year, 35 complaints were filed versus 19. Now, the word complaint might sound negative, but in this term is actually a positive term. It means the number of arrests that were solved, submitted to the district attorney's office, those have increased by 84% this month of February compared to February 2025. Now, felony arrest submitted has decreased, but that's where, if you can see down on the misdemeanor side, the district attorney's office elected to submit the felony arrest as a misdemeanor. So that has increased the amount of misdemeanors the district attorney has accepted from the Sheriff's Department Commerce area. So it's 35, 5 felony, 30 misdemeanor. And the misdemeanor category is increased 275% versus February of 2025. A couple notes is the complaints that the Sheriff's Office, Detective Bureau, option to not submit. And these are often because of the lack of evidence to fulfill the complaint to the District Attorney's Office. It could be a victim who decided not to cooperate further with the investigation, and one or two relevant reasons. The District Attorney's Office has reduced the amount of rejects. That means once they receive the arresting complaint, they have determined that more have been submitted for filing. Filing means accepting, and less rejections versus last year of 2025, 23 versus 13. So that negative 43 is a good number to have. Juveniles, 0 arrests in February versus 5 in February of 2025. And as we come down, we've had an overall increase of 10% arrests in February versus February of this year versus February of 2025. Next slide. In regards to February, there was a neighborhood watch meeting held in the Rosewood neighborhood, along with the mayor, mayor pro tem, and council members present. In addition to city staff present, I discussed community concerns. I shared updates regarding local statistics to that neighborhood, and I introduced established techniques to enhance public safety and communication with the East Los Angeles Station Dispatch specifically. After the general meeting, a few residents and I had a one-on-one to discuss personal matters related to public safety. In my opinion, these neighborhood watch meetings have grown more fruitful and appear to be more productive in the presentation. Next slide. Everyone here and live streaming is welcomed and invited to participate in the next neighborhood watch meeting, which is on March 25th. It's a Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 7. I understand this is the Veterans Park community. The location will be Greenwood Avenue, cross of Paseo del Rio. And this will be a joint effort with the Bell Gardens PD, along with myself and the sheriff's deputies. Next slide. For February 2026, Citadel reportedly continues to be the safest shopping center in the East Los Angeles commerce area. These next numbers are felony stats. In regards to felony stats, there was six crimes against persons, 3 which were robberies, and 3 which were felony assaults, which were again the element of grave bodily injury. There was 21 crimes against property feloniously, 17 felony ground thefts, 4 vehicle burglaries. These numbers add up to about 27 incidents in the month of February, and out of those 28 days, it's going to be roughly one felony incident per day. To many, even one felony incident per day is too much. So if this arena is, in the proper time, I'd like to suggest just a couple things. One is that we assign Commerce public safety officers to complement the Commerce Citadel deputies. 2, and/or budget for currently assigned deputies to work additional shifts per week during peak statistic hours. So I would introduce where we wouldn't need a full 8-hour shift because we're going to target the peak statistic hours. In my opinion, and historically working with the Sheriff's Department, this window is usually about a 4-hour additional shift for the plan of having more time of deputy assigned to the Citadel shopping community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Sergeant. Does the City Council have any questions?
I do.
Councilman Argumedo?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a follow-up, if you don't mind bringing up your presentation there, and if you can take it to the statistics part. One more, back it up one more, I believe. One more. Yeah, you highlighted some areas where we've, had more problems. I'm curious to hear from you or staff as to what do you attribute that to? What have you seen? What is it? What's different from?
Yeah, so in reviewing the thefts, which is the one that's nearly tripled from January, it's the amount of petty thefts and thefts that occurred at the Citadel Shopping Center. So these are non-violent, if you want to describe them that way. So they're not, they don't, a lot of them don't become felonious. The ground thefts are felony, but again, they're non-violent crimes. And the thefts that have occurred at these stores are having the statistics number-wise, increase for the entire city of Commerce reporting district.
Okay. And so you're suggesting that we shift some of the deputies to help out in that area, obviously, because we're having.
What I would suggest, one that would be at no cost right now, is to assign the civilian public safety officers to the Citadel to be partnered with the deputies. So this way, there'd be more eyes and more uniformed personnel at the property. The second is where we would have to budget for deputies to spend more hours at the Citadel property. Those shifts, I would suggest, are not necessary to be full 8-hour shifts, but more 4-hour shifts, because we're going to target the peak hours where these thefts and robbery, which those are the violent ones, are occurring.
Could I recommend that we maybe sit down with, our city manager to have some discussion related to the suggestions you just made? And also, I think we need to, look at, the Citadel has spent quite a bit of money in their surveillance and their security team over there. So I would like us to basically work together and figure out what the best way would be to improve those numbers and bring things down. But, working together. In other words, there may be some things that they're doing that could benefit if we collaborate with them and try to, basically take advantage of some of that. I know they've got a lot of security cameras, they've got different things that they're doing, and maybe, I'm open to it. I think it's not a bad idea, but I'd like to do it not just us coming up with a suggestion. I'd like to work with everybody involved to work to reduce those numbers and bring those numbers down. So if that's okay, I'd like to make sure that we set something up with our city manager and also with the management team over at the Citadel and figure out if we can do something and put a good plan together to try to reduce it. Part of that as well should be if we're providing additional resources, and I would expect that, they need to also step up and be able to, compensate or figure out a way to cover some of the associated costs as well. But that should be a good meeting, I think, and, let us know how that works out. City manager, good?
Yes, Councilmember, I will loop in the captain and to have these conversations. Again, we have to be, especially given the city's current finances, I would want statistical evidence that something like this would actually make a difference.
Great, thank you. And, and from that, I actually think that we can take that to our shopping center over in East LA. We could work with them as well to try to improve things over there, because these tend to be the areas that, our numbers usually jump up in these two areas. If you really break them down, these are the areas that are usually, we have, whether it's vehicles being stolen, broken into, the thefts, and other crimes. So if we can try to put a good plan together to try to bring down those numbers in each of these areas. Thank you. Jim?
I agree, council member. I just would like to mention one or two more opinion, and that is that surveillance cameras, I do agree, are a very powerful resource, powerful tool for crime solving, right? So after the fact, getting to an investigation matter versus deputies, whether they're CSO or deputies present, that's crime prevention, crime deterrence. And I do not disregard security cameras. They're a very powerful tool, equipment to help solve crimes. They often deter crimes to certain criminals who, do see surveillance video camera as a security measure. But those that are brazen, those that are historic or, longtime criminal thieves, they'd wear a mask, et cetera, and surveillance cameras become less resourceful as a physical present officer, whether CSO or deputy. And in addition to your suggestions?
If properly implemented, if I may just suggest, in a command and control center kind of environment, if I'm sitting and monitoring and I see a vehicle that to me could be problematic, right? And I see the individuals getting off, then I would immediately pick up my radio our guys, security, hey, I see this, send somebody over now, and, hey, hi, how are you? How can I help you? Can I help you? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Come on over. You can be of help. You can deter crime, as you mentioned. Huh?
Yes.
So those are the kinds of things that I would be kind of like recommending that we do. Try to figure out how we can basically head off some of these problems before they become a problem. And but I agree with you. With getting additional individuals, because again, probably security cannot really arrest anybody. They can watch, they can maybe even do a citizen's arrest, but even that becomes a little bit, you really do need law enforcement to address issues like that, because they can quickly escalate and it could be a safety issue for employees or for others. But that's what I would recommend, that we kind of keep in mind that component of it. I view it as a command and control center type of environment. And I saw a great presentation. I mentioned it before. I won't go through the whole thing again. But it was contract cities, and that was one of the ways that they turned things around over there. And they were doing a lot of the smash and grab kind of thing. Right. They implemented, their security cameras they found that they had them in different places, but they weren't integrated. And they installed a command and control center. Now they had folks actually monitoring. So when they saw something, they were on it immediately. Hey, we're going to bring somebody over, and they're looking. They may not be doing, but they were aware that somebody was already there, and they didn't quite. They maybe not doing the right things. And they showed a good example. They showed somebody going on a bike, and the individual sees police officer driving, and next thing you know, they pull him over, but they were able to radio and say, hey, we reviewed the camera, he threw an object, and the object that he threw was a gun. So he got rid of it, but you couldn't see it. But in the camera, they caught that. So they were able to pull him over, and they were able to basically arrest the individual. So I'm just sharing that because I think that's important moving forward, if we do something along these lines here to help us reduce these statistics in those areas. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate your report, and hopefully we'll get a good handle on it and bring down the statistics.
Yes, sir. And if the city manager can confirm, I believe we do have a business watch meeting with Citadel in the next upcoming week. So I'll bring that up as well.
We do. Thank you. We do. Thank you for your comments, Councilman. Councilwoman Rebollo?
Councilmember Argumedo kind of brought up my thoughts. I don't want to prolong it, so I would like to have a conversation with you and the city manager in regards to this. I have a lot of thoughts about using our CSOs on our dime, right? So I want to make sure that this has already been brought up to the Citadel, and what their buy-in is going to look like, and just there's so much to unpack here that I don't want to do it on the dais. But yeah, I would love to sit down with you guys and kind of discuss this a little further, especially if we're talking about, using city funds to send our CSOs there who are really not trained for something like that. But again, it's so much to unpack, so I would love to sit down and have a conversation about it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other questions or comments? I actually do have a couple, just kind of piggybacking off of my colleagues' comments. Every council meeting, we get a report, presentation, we look at the stats, but I know we're also told, well, a lot of this activity is happening in our shopping districts, right? The Citadel, the Commerce Center, what have you. I'd be interested in separating right, our shopping district statistics from our residential statistics, just to really understand where, you know, how much is happening and where, right? And so that is a request, and I really want to build on that. So if you could take that and maybe implement it that way for the next meeting. I do agree with the councilman. I think there would be benefit with meeting with the security teams, especially with the Citadel, just because I know they have a robust security team, and I understand what you're saying about surveillance. I get it. You know, it's a little reactive. There is a lot of benefit to it, but how often are you currently meeting with the Citadel security team right now?
Yeah, in my 8 weeks here, minus the 2 that I was on training, we've had 2 meetings with them, with the 3rd one coming up.
Okay, good. I think it's important to meet with them just so you could kind of synergize your activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're basically an extension of each other, right? And so I just want to make sure that however you're strategizing, however you're approaching things is aligned, just to optimize the level of service that area is providing. The other thing I'd like to see, right, if we're making a request for more deputies, for more PSOs, is let's meet with the security team at the Citadel, even at the Commerce Center, and let's start looking at trends. When are these crimes happening? Which hours? Which days, right? Are they happening more on the weekend, right? Are they happening on a Wednesday at noon, right? Because if you're asking us to, you know, pay for more resources, and I understand, right? We just want to make sure that we're approaching the staffing in a smart way. We just don't want to throw dollars at a solution. We want to make sure that, you know, we have some data that's backing it up, just to make sure that we're deploying in the right instances. So I do think that we need to step in and have a meeting internally, right, just to see what we want to do as a city. But ultimately, you know, we want to meet with the Citadel security team and your team as well, Sergeant, just to really understand how we're going to, you know, slay this dragon. I do think surveillance is important. You know, the truth is, with criminal enterprise, you know, word of mouth gets around, and if it's difficult to commit crime in a certain area, it's known, right? And it does deter crime. So I think that the councilman did have a good point about it. So I think it's important to consider. So great feedback. We'll certainly take it under consideration, but those are the things that I would like to see if we're going to make an additional investment as a city. So thank you for your presentation, Sergeant.
You guys, sir.
Okay, so now we'll go ahead and move on to item number 8, which is the expansion of public Wi-Fi access, phase 1. And I believe we'll have our finance director, Alvaro Castellon, who will be presenting on this item.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Tonight, we are presenting for your consideration staff's proposal to expand public Wi-Fi access at several city facilities, beginning with phase 1 of the project, which focuses on providing internal coverage. To begin, I'd like to briefly provide some background on why this is an important priority for our city. As many of you know, digital connectivity has become increasingly essential for everyday activities, such as accessing services, applying for jobs, completing schoolwork, and communicating with others. Communities across the country have been working to expand access to public wireless internet in order to address what is also commonly referred as the digital divide. Expanding public Wi-Fi can also provide several important benefits to the community, including, expanding Wi-Fi access would improve access to information and services, allowing residents to connect to online resources while visiting city facilities. It also supports education and digital literacy, particularly for students or residents who may not have consistent internet access at home. And finally, providing access can encourage greater community engagement, allowing residents to stay connected while participating in recreational programs, events, or other city activities. So currently, what we have are public Wi-Fi is available at the city's 4 library locations. However, outside of the libraries, public Wi-Fi access at most city facilities is either limited or unavailable. And unfortunately, the current infrastructure that we currently have is insufficient to support the growing demand for accessible connectivity. So to address this gap, we're proposing to offer the expansion in 2 phases. Phase 1, which is before you tonight, focuses again on interior coverage within the facility, so residents participating in indoor programs and activities or visiting the sites can access reliable wireless connection. In order to implement Phase 1, we need to purchase wireless access points, network licensing, mounting hardware, cabling, and installation services. In addition, I'd like to point out that the system will incorporate security protections similar to those currently used for our library public Wi-Fi network, including full isolation from the city's internal staff network. Next slide. Once Phase 1 is implemented, staff will return tentatively on April 14th to the City Council with a proposal for the second phase of the project. Phase 2 will focus on expanding Wi-Fi coverage to exterior areas, including park grounds, fields and courts, and other outdoor areas. This phase may require additional infrastructure improvements such as trenching and conduit installation depending on site conditions. Next slide, please. Oh, and actually for that reason, staff will return to the City Council with a separate request for authorization and funding. Here are the facilities that we're proposing to have the Wi-Fi expansion for. It's for the Bandini Park, Bristol Park, Rosewood Park, including City Hall and the Brenda Villa Aquatic Center, the Teen Center, and the Veterans Neighborhood Center, which is the mobile facility that's adjacent to the Veterans Library. Next slide. Lastly, staff is recommending the following for Phase 1. First, approval and agreement with Southern Computer Warehouse for the necessary equipment in the amount not to exceed $27,000. Second, approval of an agreement with Integrated Security for the cabling and installation at the facilities in an amount not to exceed $14,000. Authorize the city manager to execute the agreements. And finally, adopt a resolution appropriating $41,000 from the Project Management Fund to support the one-time implementation cost for Phase 1. So this phased approach allows us to begin expanding Wi-Fi access in indoor areas while returning to the City Council later with a more detailed proposal for outdoor coverage. Okay, and that concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Okay, great. Thank you for that presentation. Director Castellon, does the City Council have any questions?
No questions, just I'm happy that we're moving in this direction. It's been needed for a decade, so thank you for that.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any other comments? Yeah, listen, I think this initiative is important to me and the City Council, right? Because reliable high-speed internet, it's not universal, and this is a modern public service, right? So I think this is a way for us to deliver for our community. So I'm really excited about this. And this is just the first phase, right? Next phase will be access at the parks, right? So we'll see what that looks like in April. But, by providing free Wi-Fi in our city facilities, we're making sure that every resident here has a place where they can learn, they can grow, and they can access opportunities. So I would like to make the motion to approve this item per staff's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by myself and a second by Councilwoman Rebollo. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
All right.
Thank you, Alvaro.
Thank you.
Great, and so now we'll go ahead and move on to item number 9, which is the proposed Independence Day celebration program for July 3rd through 4th, 2026, and that'll be presented by our Director of Parks and Recreation, Adolfo Marquez.
And Adolfo, before you begin, council members, so part of our ongoing process of I don't want to say the word correcting, but right-sizing our budget with our actual expenditures is, as you know, we celebrate the city's birthday every 5 years. Every 5 years we have essentially a very large 4th of July program. This is really to, one, inform you and get your buy-in on the city's plans for this year's 4th of July, but two, really establish the budget for this program for every 4 years. So 4 years is going to be something like this, obviously with expected cost of living or cost of expense type increases, but overall this is your budget, right? And then every 5 years, obviously, we'll have a different number that reflects the city's birthday. So understand that that's part of tonight's goal, on top of obviously making sure that you know what we are doing, presenting as far as staff is concerned, and so we can roll out the public information portion of this so the public knows what our plans are for the future. Again, you'll see it's a robust program, 2-day program, so go ahead, Adolfo.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Lainez, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, and members of the City Council. I'm Adolfo Marquez, the Director of Parks and Recreation, and this evening I'm presenting an overview of the proposed 2-day Independence Day celebration for 2026 as the nation prepares to celebrate America's 250th birthday. Next slide. Staff is planning a 2-day celebration beginning on Friday, July 3rd that builds on our traditional Independence Day event, while recognizing the national milestone of America's 250th birthday. Next slide. Staff began outreach to pyrotechnic companies last year, and really it's been 2 years. Unfortunately, due to the limited industry availability, companies have declined to provide us with the 4th of July fireworks show. A potential lead involving a technician branching out independently did not materialize. Because of this, staff has structured the event to include fireworks on Friday, July 3rd. Next slide. What we have secured is high-energy tribute bands for both evenings. On July 3rd, we've secured Identity Theft Band. They play 40s, 80s, and 90s music. Jumping Jack Flash, Rolling Stones tribute, and the evening we hope to conclude with the fireworks show. On July 4th, we plan to have the Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute, along with a Yahtzee band playing 70s and 80s yacht rock. The July 4th celebration would conclude with the laser light show that we had last year. It was very popular and people of all ages enjoyed it. Next slide, please. And as in previous years, the event will include family-friendly attractions and activities that residents have come to enjoy, including the Abilities Rock Wall, traditional giant slide, the Ferris wheel and Sizzler, and more. Next slide, please. The mid-year budget included $250,000 to support the 2026 Independence Day celebration, which supplements the annual $91,000 budget for the Independence Day celebration. On this side, we have detailed of the expenses. I'll highlight the fireworks show at $28,520, the laser light show at $65,000, and the carnival rides at $114,528. Next slide, please. Staff respectfully presents this proposal format for council's consideration and direction. We look forward to delivering a memorable Independence Day celebration as we honor America's 250th birthday. If you have any questions or suggestions, I'm here, as well as our Recreation Program Supervisor, Lisa Macias, who's in the audience, but we're here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you for your presentation, Director Marquez. Does the City Council have any questions? Okay, I see Councilwoman Rebollo.
I just have a quick, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a quick question about the music selection. Yahtzee band, what kind of music is that?
So, Yahtzee, let me make sure I have this. Yacht rock, it was described to me as upbeat, very, as if you're on a yacht. It's trending,
Is it like top 40 type of music?
it is, but I guess it has its own trend.
I'm only asking because I see that we have like two kind of rock bands back to back, and I want to make sure that the selection kind of fits everybody's like, you know, like everybody's likes. And I just wanted to make sure that we have a little bit of, and it's not because I'm not like a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. That's perfectly fine. But I just want to make sure that we're kind of, you know, hitting the listening likes of all the different generations. Okay, just wanted to make sure what that was.
Yes, and Adrian has talked to the bands, and so actually we just spoke earlier today, and he's coordinating with them to make sure that a lot of the music, like for example, if they play 80s, that there won't be repeats. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your question, Councilwoman. Councilman Agromero.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on the, I guess the problems that we're having getting the fireworks on 4th of July. Is there anything to prohibit us from working now 3-4 years down the road to secure them?
Yes, and that is our hope. All the 6, well, now 5, because one of them went out of business, they've heard from us for 2 years now, every few months. And as it comes, as January approaches, we kind of follow up on a monthly basis. And so they are well aware that we are very interested on a July 4th show. And we are in line. We've asked, what does it take to bring us up closer to the front? And so I believe that that we will hopefully be there within 3 years. It is my hope.
So if I may add, because I don't want to commit to any kind of years, I'm tell you what's happening is a lot of the cities that have the 4th of July, essentially they're unless they change their programming, right, we're in that kind of queue. Now, in May, while at Contract Cities, we're going to be meeting with a sub-branch of TNT that's looking to create another company, because that's the issue right now. There's only a handful of companies. There's another company that's supposed to be coming on board, and that certainly already preliminary expressed our interest to say, we want to be your city, right? And so hopefully there is a timeline that it works for the city council. I just don't want to commit to anything that I know I can't deliver on.
And let me just have a follow-up to that. I know we did the drone show previously. How was that received? I mean, I've heard a lot of positive, responses from different people related to that. I mean, couldn't we explore that as an option?
We definitely could, if you'd like us to.
Well, I mean, and this is for us. I mean, I want to not just throw it out there. I mean, we had it, we experienced it. How was the feedback? Did people enjoy it? People like it? I heard positive comments.
Yeah, we heard a lot of positive comments, specifically because it was themed for commerce. And I think people who maybe don't enjoy drone shows at the Dodger game and like to leave early, like to leave the parking lot early, that we heard a lot of good feedback from the presentation that we had. Now, the laser light show, we've received a lot of good feedback from surprisingly from all ages. We were hoping that the teenagers and the young crowd who sometimes say that they feel a little left out with maybe the choice of our bands, we've had a lot of good feedback from that age range and also from all age ranges in regards to the light show. But if it's the council's wish, of course, we can explore the drone show and we can mix this up and and do what you'd like us to do.
So, Councilmember, because I think it'd be appropriate, again, part of this process was to establish the budget, right? So now that we have established that we have a 2-day event, right? The day 2, so for next year, we will already preliminary reach out to drone shows, laser shows. We'll have these options for the day 2, and then you could decide as far as programming, right? Because I think both provide a very valuable program for the public, and it probably does benefit to kind of mix things up over the years, right? But we want to have those options available to you. And so I think fireworks show, everybody loves fireworks show every single year, right? We can't get away from that. But the day 2 is where we can be creative and, present different options. I think you can buy the Disney, you can rent the Disney electrical parade nowadays, so.
We'll turn Commerce Way to Main Street, right?
There you go.
Thank you, Councilman. Does that conclude your question?
It does. And while you're on the Main Street electrical parade, I did get, no, I'm serious. I did get somebody that, it was 2 individuals that asked me about, hey, they used to do it before. We'd have a little entrance. It's not necessarily a parade, but a little bit entrance. And I said, and they brought up, it's a 250-year celebration. And I go, I'll bring it up. You know what? I'll bring it up and we'll see if we can do anything with the merch. But I mean, we don't have to make it into a complete blown out thing. You know what I'm saying? But
why not?
We can. Oh, you know what I'm saying.
I think that's a great idea, and I'm sure that the
have all of the
performing
dance
arts would love that challenge.
Sports teams.
Yes, and include everyone.
We can make it fun for everybody, and we just make a little bit of an interest, something along those lines.
Definitely.
And explore that, and if everybody's okay with that, I think it would be awesome. We don't need the rental car. So, I mean, we can do a nice entrance. I'm just saying.
All right.
I think that's
noted.
That's a great suggestion. We should look into that. Does anybody else on the council have any questions?
I do.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Hello, thanks for your presentation. Just a really quick question. For the fireworks show, since it's on the 3rd, did we get a discounted price on that?
So actually, the fire show has gone up in price like everything else. And so it's a set price. I'm sure that when we have it on the 4th, that's when it'll climb.
Yeah, I was going to add that it's more expensive on the 4th for the program itself, and obviously more expensive operationally for the city. But there is a premium to doing it on the 4th. So the price we have is higher than last year, but it's still July 3rd price.
Okay. And also, I know that we were that city where they would always come on the 4th of July for us. When did that stop?
So coming out of COVID, when it was decided that the 4th of July would be celebrated the weekend before, the city chose to get out of line. And so this is the effect. This is the, I don't want to say price we pay, but it's a consequence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, City Council, for your comments. I think the drone show is a good idea. What I will point out is that I felt the laser light show was really lively that evening, right? A lot of times now, big acts will have concerts where they'll give you like a wristband, right? And the lights will change with the music and everything. And so I feel like it gave that type of experience to our community. And from what I saw, and it was hard to see because I was actually on the dance floor, right? So I didn't really have a good peripheral, but there were a lot of people that really got into it, right? And it's something you could enjoy just by sitting down, right? If you didn't want to get up and dance. Or you could get up close to the stage and to the DJ, right? So because we don't have fireworks, right? Because, at some point the city made a decision to get out of line, right? Now we're suffering the consequences of that. I feel like this is a good main event, right, for 4th of July. So, we could look at a drone show too. The only concern I have about a drone show is will pollution because of fireworks from our neighbors, right? We all do our little fireworks show here in Commerce and East LA and all over. So will that smoke impact the visuals of that drone show, right? Because it'll go up in the air, right? Will it compete? I don't know the answer to that, right? But that's what kind of stands out in my head. So I think, you know, if everyone's good with the budget, we can explore both, but my vote is for the laser light show. And the grand entrance that the council member.
I think that would be good.
Yeah, and just to clarify, so staff's recommendation is this is going to be our budget, right? And for next year, we lock in the fireworks and we bring you options for the day 2 events, right? To include drone show and everything else. Yeah, I don't know about the smoke thing. That's a good point. So.
Great. So at this time, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve this item per staff's recommendation. Okay, so we have a motion and a second by Councilwoman Rebollo. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you, Director Marquez.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll go ahead and move on to item number 10, which is an adoption of ordinance number 830. This time, I believe our city manager will be presenting this item.
Thank you, Mayor, Member of City Council. Actually, Marla Rivera will present the item.
Hello, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. My name is Marla Rivera, and I'm the Human Resources Manager. The item before you this evening is for the adoption of ordinance number 830, which authorizes an amendment to the city's contract with the California Public Employees Retirement System to provide up to 2 years of additional service credit, commonly referred to as a golden handshake. The ordinance was introduced at the February 10, 2026 City Council meeting following the public disclosure of the CalPERS actuarial evaluation and adoption of the resolution of intention as required by Government Code Sections 20903 and 7507. This action today represents a second reading and adoption of ordinance number 830. In addition, staff is recommending the adoption of an urgency ordinance authorizing the same contract amendment so that it may take effect immediately rather than after the standard 30-day waiting period. Approval of these ordinances will allow the city to proceed with the CalPERS contract amendment and implement the retirement incentive program consistent with the council's previously stated intent to support workforce planning and potential organizational efficiencies. This completes my presentation. I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Revilla. Does the council have any questions? Any comments? Okay, so at this time, I will entertain a motion on this item.
So moved.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilwoman Rebollo. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Altamirano. Madam Clerk, could you please conduct a roll call vote?
Sorry, do you need me to be specific on my
Motion.
motion, or suffices what mayor's call for the motion?
Yeah, now that you raise the issue, I mean, I'm sure your motion staff's recommendation, correct?
Yeah, my motion is to
Go with
approve
staff's
staff's recommendation 1 and 2.
Okay, and Councilman, that was your assumption as well, right?
Okay.
Great,
Just making sure.
thank you.
The speaker, your speaker.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He did.
I think your mic's off.
So motion passes 4-0 with an abstention. Okay. So Madam Clerk. So we'll hold for a second here, and Mr. City Attorney, is the item over, or can, she hasn't read the ordinance yet. So, no, but what I'm saying is, do we want to give the councilman the opportunity to vote on this item? It's counted, it's done, okay.
It's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, so
Do you want me to read it? Can you-
Attorney Tapia, if you could read the ordinance, please.
Yeah. Okay.
The ordinance titles for the record.
Okay, the following is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Commerce authorizing an amendment to the contract between the City Council of the City of Commerce, California, and the Board of Administration of the California Public Employees Retirement System.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. At this time now, we'll go ahead and move on to City Council reports. And we're going to go ahead and move over to my left. Councilwoman Rebollo.
I have nothing to report today.
Okay, thank you for that, Councilwoman. I'll now move on to my right, Councilman Altamirano.
Yes. I just want to say congratulations to Councilmember Hugo Argumedo for the prestigious award that he received from the Tomajan Award from the Industrial Council or the Commerce Chamber of Commerce. However, that comes from the casino, and it has like a very deep and powerful story. So it's an honor to receive that. So congratulations to you and your family for that. An update on the art stuff that's going on is the art by the baseball fields. There was a green container there that there's two of them actually, but one of them, it just stands out like a sore thumb, and it's now has some art. It's looking nice. I went there just for about half an hour yesterday, and what I noticed is there's a lot of residents going around that area, and some of the residents were trying to give the artist some money. I don't know if you guys heard that, but they were trying to give them a tip because they liked the art so much, and the two artists were saying, "No, we can't receive your money." But there was also some teenagers there, pretty excited. Some of them were boasting and telling other teens that they knew the artist because they helped them paint the butterflies, the one that says Rosewood. And then they were asking if the artist could teach them how to create murals. And he informed them that there's a class. So there's going to be a class at the teen center, and it might start Monday. So there was already some teens that came back with their parents to talk to the artist about the class, and they're pretty excited. So I'm pretty excited to see and discover some artists within our community. So I think it's a good thing. We have that, and I passed by today, and it looks like the container is almost done. So he's going to start a Fernando Valenzuela in that area where he had promised he's going to put something. So that's going to be starting up pretty soon. So that whole Rosewood area is going to look nice. But then I also have some of the community members from like Bandini. They were asking Bandini and Bristol's moving forward with some art, but Bandini area, if we can do the same. I really think that we should spend a little bit of the money that we have from that's only dedicated to art. It's not coming out of general fund. It's this monies were only created for art. If we were the poorest city in the entire world, this money could only be spent on art. I just want to clarify that because there are some residents that called me and asked if we can start to use that money for general fund things, and that's not what it was created for. It's a new revenue that comes in from businesses, and I asked our city manager if he can, maybe the next city council meeting, if he can have a presentation on that so we can have some clarity on exactly how the money's got here, how we're receiving money, and we can continue to receive those revenues for the life of the City of Commerce. So I would like to divert some of that money into the Bandini area to start to look at some things and beautify that area too, to make it colorful. So those are my reports, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your report, Councilman. I did have a chance to visit with the artist on Wednesday, talk to him for a bit, and it was coming along. So I think he finishes this week. That's what he's projecting. So excited to see that. Councilman Argumedo.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, for those of you who didn't get a chance to attend the event on Friday hosted by the Industrial Council or the Commerce Business Council. Yeah, we renamed it. I was really honored to receive the George Tomajian Award. And, for those who knew Mr. Tomajian, he was the founding father of the Commerce Casino. Many people knew him as just plain simple Mr. T. Really outstanding individual. I had the opportunity to work with him on, actually, I guess it was just when I first got elected. Shortly after being elected, I had the opportunity to meet with him, and he was just a great individual. We go back, and I know that things were started with the Citadel. Many years ago, I would say I got elected in November of 1996, and the following year, I believe, we had a presentation to the City Council, and they indicated to us that the Citadel was filing bankruptcy, going into bankruptcy. And of course, everybody in the council was like, oh my gosh, it was terrible. And honestly, for me, it was the opposite. I was like, hey man, this is a great opportunity. And I remember looking at our finance director then and asked him, I go, hey, are we in a position to acquire? And he said, his response was, I'm not sure, let me look at it. Look at the numbers and I can get back to you. They basically were asking for $29 million at that time. He came back, reported to us and said, yeah, it's doable. And sure enough, shortly thereafter, we went ahead and moved and bought it for $29 million. And a couple of years after, probably maybe 2 years possibly, I forget it now. We then sold it. We turned around and sold it to Steve Craig. And as you know, the rest is history, what you see there. But part of that agreement was that we sold it to him for, I believe, and you might want to double check, either 62 or 64 million. I can't remember exactly. It was one of those two figures, $64 million. So we turned around, and in essence, probably one of the best investments that we've ever made for our community, for our residents. I mean, that project, with what he's done with that, it's just been phenomenal. Part of the sale price of that was that they were obligated to do 4 phases of improvements, which he's done before and has gone beyond that. And he was just really one of the, I think, the best presentations that we received at the time. He did a great job. He came, and there was other presenters that came also wanting to purchase it. But in my opinion, from my recollection in those meetings, I was really impressed with Steve Craig because some of the others sent a team of people to make the presentation. He came himself, and he made the presentation. And his team knew more about the Citadel than our staff did. And to me, that was impressive. And I could just see the amount of enthusiasm and vision, hey, I'm going to turn this thing around. I remember one of the, what I thought was one of the important questions to ask him was, I was sold on what he was presenting already, but I just asked him just to get a feel for, hey, I want to know, this question I have is, how are you going to get over the wall? How are you going to get people over the wall? This seems to be the big challenge. And he goes, I'm glad you asked that question, and you're absolutely right. And he says, I'm going to put digital signs, the very signs that you see now. And that was the answer. And I said, great, I like it. And that was the beginning of, the whole thing with those signs and everything. The other question that came up shortly afterwards, and I did not know that, but the Citadel is a historical landmark. And the other issue that came up was that, hey, they don't want us to make these signs look like the Citadel. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I go, that's part of what makes this really look very nice, right? And so anyways, he said, well, you may be hearing from the historical society or somebody. I go, well, who do they appeal to? And he says, I believe you're the body that they would come to. And I says, oh, great, just do it. I mean, that really was what we said. Yeah, go ahead and do it, let them appeal to us. And anyways, the rest is pretty much history, but it's turned out to be one of the most, probably one of the best decisions that we've made at the time. And then shortly thereafter, this now goes to Mr. George Tumajian, of course, in the Commerce Casino. And one of the discussions we had was the concept and the idea of building a hotel. And they saw all of what was going on with that, so that was, interesting. And I thought it was more palatable to them because they had been thinking about building a hotel, but really hadn't moved forward with it because they just didn't see the amount of traffic through that area, or But with this project, I think it now gave them the confidence that, hey, yeah, we can build a hotel. And they would then shortly after ask the city for a $5 million loan, which was also controversial. But it wasn't so controversial. I mean, it was easy. It's like, hey, guys, we're going to build a hotel. That means people are going to be coming, staying here. They're going to be probably spending more time at the hotel. And not only that, if we make a loan, guess what? We're going to do it on our terms, meaning we're going to be picking up interest as well. Immense interest, and it'll be paid. And I think everybody wins. And it turned out to be another great decision because that's exactly what happened. We ended up getting money paid back with interest. And on top of that, we ended up generating more business because people were coming and staying there and spending more time there. And the third component of this was that shortly thereafter, we decided to do the hotel visitor tax. And we know what that means. It was projected at the time to generate $2.3 million. And it's done fabulous since then. But I would get called into a meeting with Mr. George Tumajian. I would meet with him probably at least once every 2 months, once a month, maybe, and we'd have lunch. And I got called into a meeting at the Commerce Casino, and he says, Hugo, I heard about this hotel visitor tax. And I said, yes, Mr. Tumajian. Yeah, we're looking at doing it. I think it would be wise for us to do it. And I explained to him, every other city around us, they're doing hotel visitor tax. So wherever we go and stay, we're paying that. So why shouldn't we do the same and collect money from those that come and visit the city of Commerce? Yeah, okay, and he said, we just opened the hotel and this and that. So his, I can't remember his name, but he used to handle all of the developments for the Commerce Casino. He's moved on since then, he's no longer there. But I looked at him and I told him, what's your occupancy rate? And he says, 50, 55%. I said, would 80, 85% be good? I mean, is that reasonable? Is that pretty decent? And he says, that would be great, Hugo. And I says, okay, so why don't we do this? I said, why don't we wait for you to reach that 80, 85%, and then we can pursue, moving forward with the hotel visitor tax. Great, that sounds like a good idea. So that, in essence, what ended up happening, the only request I did make was because the Commerce Business Council may not be very happy with this, but they were not supportive of the hotel visitor tax because, they felt, this is a no-tax city. But in reality, look, that was then, this is now, and we have to be looking and thinking differently. And bottom line is, I just asked the Commerce Casino that if they would not get involved in that issue related when it came to the election. And they agreed that they would not, they would basically stay out of it. And as a result of that, we would pass it. And I believe we passed with more than 60%. Voters that approved it, and the rest is history. But anyways, I wanted to share a little bit of that with you. There's a couple of others, but I'm not going to take more time here. But you know about the scholarship program. That was another big one as well, which I'm really proud of. That was the first time that the Commerce Casino donated At the time, it was $10,000 to a scholarship program. It all came from a meeting once again with Mr. Tamarian. I didn't realize this, but at my first time becoming mayor, he says it's customary we ask the mayor what is, what would be a good gift for the city. And I wasn't sure. I got caught by surprise on that one. Bottom line is that my response to him at the time was that I thought that the best thing he can do for the city was to invest in its future. That was my response. He looked at me, not sure what I'm talking about. Then I told him he had a great scholarship with me. And the rest is history with that as well. The first year, I believe once we made the changes to the scholarship program, we put it under the library department, which I felt was the appropriate location for it. And I uttered the words, we're going to generate $100,000. Everybody's like, this guy's crazy, Anyways, since then, we were able to generate our first year close to $80,000. And since then, we've done significantly. Of course, we've done well with that. So they've made a significant investment in our community. So just awesome thing. But anyways, I just want to I want to thank the Commerce Business Council for this incredible honor. All of the executive board and all of the officers and the board members. I want to thank the colleagues on the city council for your help and support us through the years. I've not only worked with the council that I'm sitting here, but with others prior to that. It took all of us working together to accomplish a lot of this, and I just want to say thank you for allowing me. So I will conclude that and I will move on. And let's see. I know you usually take long on your report, so today I took the liberty of filming that. But anyways, yeah, of course, yesterday we attended the budget session over in the Bandini Library, which I thought was great. It was good to hear from our finance director in the presentation. We made a great presentation, and it was well received by the community, and also some of the feedback that we received. In particular, Ms. Basie from the Rosewood Park area. She had plenty to say, and it was good. I was glad she was there because I thought it was important, even though she's not the representative of Rosewood Park, but she absolutely was voicing some issues and concerns that I think we could all relate to. So I'm glad that she was there to do that. I think that's all I have at this time. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. Not a problem. Thank you, Councilman, for your comments. And since Councilwoman Rebollo didn't speak, you had double time. So there you go.
Thank you.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem.
Wow, what an inspiring story. Thank you for that. I attended the National Night Out, and I want to thank the Rosewood area for coming out, the residents, and voicing your concern to our public safety and to our sergeant. And it's always important that we have our sergeant there so that he can let you know what's going on and his expertise on how to handle situations. And that's exactly what he did. And so thank you, residents, for coming out to that. I also would like to thank Shahid and his team, the street maintenance, for keeping up the Rosewood area very nicely. Maybe we can start focusing on the Veterans Park area a little bit more, and the surrounding other parks too. But overall, thank you for a great job. I'm not sure if I thank public safety for the National Night Out, but for putting an event together very nicely. Thank you for that. And I'd also like to congratulate my colleague for his award that he received on Friday. And lastly, I know it was on March the 8th, but Happy International Women's Day. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for that, Mayor Pro Tem. As far as my comments, I also attended the Neighborhood Watch meeting, and I appreciate the participation from our Sergeant Cortez, as well as the deputies there, and the work from Natalie, Rebecca, the PSO team, and all city staff, right, who I think did a really good job. It was a step up from the one at Bristow Park. I think we had logistics a little bit more planned out. So I felt it went well, and I think it was good feedback from the community. Was good attendance, I felt. So there was that. And last week, along with our city manager and our director of community development, Jessica Serrano, we attended Icon West, where it's basically a conference for industrial real estate. And it was what I would call the unveiling of the Big Four, which is the coalition that we formed with Vernon, Santa Fe Springs, and the City of Industry. Really just to market our open lots, our warehouses or buildings without any tenancy. And so we got a lot of great feedback, right? We got interest from several businesses that are looking to occupy some of our available warehouses. There's different types of businesses we're trying to bring into the city, right? But at the same time, we want to make sure that we have tenants in our existing facilities. And so, we were pretty clear. We're looking for point of sale revenues, and we're also looking to create jobs and opportunities for the community. And so they heard us, and I think we've drummed up some interest. And so I know our staff has been working. It's kind of like after that convention, just kind of with callbacks and things of that nature. So looking forward to see how that materializes. On March 5th, I also attended the Commerce Business Council's installation of officers. So congratulations to my colleague here on the George Tamanjan Award. Great body of work, right? So it's well deserved. And I also want to congratulate the district manager of Cal Water, Jim Crawford, who was named the president of the chamber for the 4th straight year. Pretty sure it's because he's doing a great job and not because nobody else will take that role. But at least that's what I tell Jim. So congratulations to him. I attended the LA Kings family hockey trip. I know you were there as well, Councilman. Great game. It didn't shake out for the Kings the way I would have hoped, but it was an exciting game. Yeah. And so I really want to thank Arnold and Anthony and the Parks and Recreation team for all the work that they did to organize that event. I also want to give a shout out to the Transportation Department, specifically Jaime and Ernie, for getting us to and from, I'll call it Staples Center, to and from Staples Center safely. I know it's crypto, but it'll always be Staples Center. But it was great, and the community had a great time. Like many of my colleagues here, I also attended the community budget meeting yesterday. I thought Director Castellon did a great job as well as far as presenting the information. I thought our city manager did a great job of explaining the different slides and also talking about the upcoming measure that we have. So I definitely want to give you a shout out, Director Castellon, and the finance department, because I know it was a team effort. And actually all department directors and their teams, right? All city staff, right? Because at the end of the day, you're getting inputs from everyone. So I thought the numbers were really digestible, easy to process. I do appreciate that some members of the community did come out. I would have liked to have seen more attendance from our community members, but I know that we also have another budget meeting, I believe, next week at Bristow Library. So we'll see how that shakes out, but I thought it was a phenomenal job. So thank you for doing that. Lastly, I want to congratulate our Commerce Dance team for their strong showing this past weekend at State at Knott's Berry Farm. Right? I like Knott's Berry Farm, so I wish I could have attended, but I thought they did great. I heard they did great, and I definitely want to wish them luck in nationals next month. So with that said, that concludes council reports. We're not going to adjourn the meeting because there are a couple of items left that we need to cover for closed session. So the city council will reconvene to closed session. Thank you all.